So this is my first video using a new microphone, so the sound might be a little weird. I'm not able to tweak the settings because I need to get an adapter to physically attach it to my phone to change the settings, which is really frustrating. But I'm hoping the sound is better for right now. Yeah, so I've got my little monster, and I think I'm gonna grub him up a little bit. He's a creature that eats poop. And he also farts a lot, so I think it just makes sense to make him a little grubby. I'm going to use some Typhus Corrosion to get some like dirty, gritty texture on him, especially in those places that don't have green stuff on him, and just kind of blend it into the green stuff a little bit too. You don't want to use a brush that's too nice because, as you can see, it's real gritty in there if you have not seen Typhus Corrosion. It's a technical paint. It's one of my favorite things to use. I love it. When I was a kid, this kind of thing was not widely known, and basically my only exposure to hobby stuff was the local game store that was mostly Warhammer and Dungeons and Dragons focused. It wasn't really like, model making focused, which I'm sure this kind of thing existed in those spaces, but I was not aware of people using them for Warhammer type models. I'm just going to make sure that I'm getting paint that actually has the texture in it. I sometimes like, with the kind of flip top bottle, to collect what is in the top part of the bottle after I shake it. That's partially just to not overload the brush. I just find it a lot easier to get control doing that. Yeah, it's starting to look good. I think this is close to the color I want him to be eventually. Just want him to look real nasty and like he's been rolling around in muck in a swamp or something. I'm gonna turn the volume down because I realized I'm peaking. I might try to do him a little brighter to kind of keep that sci-fi feel to it. Rather, I should say like a more vivid color, but yeah, he could be covered in any kind of alien dirt. Getting around. I don't want to muddy up his fart hole because I want that to read very clearly and cartoony. But I think that's good. I don't want to overdo it too much. And I'm a little worried about muddying up the eye as well. I should probably get some on this top bit here. Look at that. He's looking good. I'm really happy with how this eye turned out. I don't sculpt much, and I don't draw much. So it's cool to just push myself a little bit to do something like that. I want to get better at that kind of thing. There's some spots that are just kind of conspicuously lacking stuff, so I'm gonna go in there and dab some on there. I want these arms to look natural, and you're gonna see them from the front, so I think there should be a bit more on there to match that texture, because that's also where I had to take off a lot of mold lines. And by take off mold lines, I mean cut off most of the model, because it's PVC, and removing the mold lines was surprisingly difficult. Cool, yeah, I think that's looking better. Just gonna get a few things in there, maybe get this side of his butt too. Yeah, I'll be painting that X anyways, so I think it will be okay that it's not pristine. I don't like calling it pristine. That's a little weird. All right. So I'm trying to figure out if I want to do this before priming or after priming, but I'm thinking of adding some terrain details to this guy, just to kind of messy him up a little bit, kind of take something from Turnip. I've got those. I've also got these purple flowers, which I've never opened. That looks crazy. So that probably did not look that crazy to you. Yeah, so I got these purple flowers. And I think for sure these I want to put on after I do the primer, because I like that pop of color and stuff like that. I think that's going to look good. I'll play more with like specific placement when I get around to doing it. But yeah, I like the idea of having the flowers on the guy that is pretty stinky. So yeah, I did not have a ton of time to get stuff done today, but I think it might be a good time to talk about some projects I'm thinking of doing coming up. So one of those is I have a lot of older miniatures and scenery that I had when I was maybe like late elementary school, middle school aged, that wasn't put together the best and didn't really survive storage the best because it wasn't super well treated while it was out of my hands. And so I'm going to be working on restoring some of those things. So the first thing that I have that I'm going to strip the paint off of and put it on a base that makes sense is I have this Witch King on Fell Beast mini that is very cool. He's missing the tip of his tail. That was kind of always an issue for some reason. I don't know why. And then here his wing has popped off. You can see the poorly mixed green stuff from when I was younger. And so I'm going to work on getting that wing back on. I'm going to strip all the paint off of this to do a better job of painting it. And then I'm also going to have to figure out a way to replace his sword there because it's snapped off. I have some other Ringwraith minis that I'm probably going to be able to make a push cast of the sort of, but it's going to be tricky because it's thin. And then I also have the missing legs for this. I think I never managed to get the legs on there because this mini is just pretty difficult. Yeah, you can see there's a hole for the legs. This whole thing's metal, which was kind of outside my ability when I first had it, but I was so proud of this thing when I first put it together, so I'd love to get it together in a way that I can be proud of now as an adult that does this. And then lastly, something I'm going to be working on trying to restore is I have this kit that is, I believe, called the Warhammer Fortress. It's a very cool kit. This is the gate to it. It's 4 wall pieces that are about the same size as this. This is just the coolest one to pull out as an individual piece to have on a desk. But yeah, I've got these gates on it. And it's not assembled the best. You can definitely see all the cracks in it, and the doors are kind of falling off, kind of yellowed. So I'm going to be, I believe, turning this into a piece of scenery for 1490 Doom. I haven't quite decided if I want to leave it modular as is, or if I would like to maybe modify it a bit to be a more interesting play space. But yeah, it's very cool. The box art is incredible, but I do not have the box. And I don't know if I ever had the box. I don't know how I got this thing. But it's very cool. And I actually did not think I owned it anymore, but it was in storage.